Alex Grinch has reportedly turned down the Washington State head coaching job. We got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You got to help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to talk about Alex Grinch, who, according to our brethren at the 247 site for Washington State, has turned down to the idea of even interviewing for the Washington State head coaching job. Now, it wasn't malicious at all, man. He was torn, according to sources at CougFan.com, where you can read that premium article on not just why Alex Grinch turned down the job, but who else they're looking at. And I have heard rumors about this too, but the guys that are at the top of the list, Nick Rolovich at Hawaii, who did outstanding things with Cole McDonald, who declared for the NFL draft at quarterback, the Rainbow Warriors. That's always going to be a tough post because just flying to the West Coast is like an 8-hour affair. And a home game is really out of the question for a lot of teams unless they're in conference with Hawaii, in which case we all say good luck. But the Washington State job would be a step up for Rolovich because, number one, it is a Power 5 job, and you have an opportunity to play in what is going to be a televised rivalry game with Washington each and every year, to say nothing of you'll get the class teams in the Pac-12, and if you can recruit from the area, you're going to be pretty good. And Alex Grinch showed you could do that defensively. I think that Alex Grinch was one of the best hires that Mike Leach ever made, particularly because it was always about the defense with Mike Leach. You always knew that the offense was going to put up points and a ton of yards, but it wasn't going to matter if you couldn't stop people. Alex Grinch went up to Pullman, and he not only turned around the defense, he took it from 99th in the country to a peak of 16th in the country. They were 23rd, 25th, 28th, consistently playing what he calls his maximum effort defense. It's called the speed D because they run to the football, not because they're especially fast, but they can be. He turned 250 pounds, 6'4" defensive tackle Hercules Mataafa into an All-American. He's still playing with the Minnesota Vikings today. And I also really like the idea of Alex Grinch getting a head coaching job. I just thought that being the defense coordinator at Oklahoma was always going to be a better job. Now, I understand that a head coaching job is a head coaching job. And when you get an opportunity to be a head coach, it's really difficult to say no. But Alex Grinch is also in a really good position right now where he can really bide his time and wait for the job he absolutely wants. Because after 1 year at Oklahoma, he took over a defense that was ranked 101st in the country in total defense and turned it into a top 25 defense before going into the Peach Bowl. They gave up fewer rushing yards per game than Alabama. That's with personnel he didn't recruit, playing in a scheme they didn't know how to run until this year. And now he's got outstanding talent coming in the 2020 class. I'm putting together some film of the early enrollees at Oklahoma, and my goodness, Justin Harrington just pops. Like, I watched his tape and I was analyzing it. This kid plays free safety, but he is enormous. About 6'3", it looks like on tape. Over 200 pounds. Instinctual ball hawk. Can hit. He's exactly the kind of safety that Alex Grinch has been looking for. And that has been, for Oklahoma, really, over the last 3 years, a position of absolute need. And I felt good about Alex Grinch, number one, because of what he did at Washington State, but also because he's a safety and a safeties coach. That is his position. But the guys that he was playing at safety, and Pat Fields and Delarian Turner-Yell, were the only guys he felt comfortable playing. This is from a dude that wanted to play 30 to 40 people on his defense and really wanted a 22 deep as opposed to just an 11 deep. But he never felt really great about what he had at safety, so much so that he was just playing Delarian Turner-Yell and Pat Fields the majority of the snaps. And when Delarian Turner-Yell goes down with an injury, having to put Justin Broyles in that position, strong safety position, you understood that he was not going to be great, but you also didn't expect him to get torched like he did against LSU with Justin Jefferson just running wild, 14 catches, 227 yards, 4 TDs in the Peach Bowl. But now you're bringing in not just Justin Harrington as a JUCO guy, early enrollee that you expect to compete right away for a job, the number one player in the country at his position, a top 10 player in the junior college class for 2020, but Bryson Washington, who is a sneaky good get for Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch out of CE King. You're adding to another year of these safeties and these defensive backs that are growing, like Jeremiah Cradell, Woody Washington, Jaden Davis, Jamal Morris. All of those guys have a year of either redshirting experience or playing experience, in which case I expect them to be huge for this 2020 team and 2021. And that's the reason why I think Alex Grinch was more likely to stay at Oklahoma. It's because he's set up to go after a national championship in 2020 and 2021, with 2021 perhaps being the magic year. And kudos to Lincoln Riley, who has been able to keep his staff together. The continuity of this staff is tremendous. When you look at how other staffs are being dissected and coordinators are taking other jobs, position coaches are taking coordinator jobs, the idea that Lincoln Riley has not only been able to hold on to Alex Grinch for this year, and Brian Odom, and Roy Manning, and Calvin Thibodeau, but that he's consistently been able to hold on to Cale Gundy, Dennis Simmons, and Bill Bedenbaugh speaks to just how good he's been as a manager of his coaches and not just the roster. I'm excited to see what this actually turns out to be, because now folks know who Alex Grinch is if they didn't already. I know there's some Ohio State fans that are still going, I don't know what you guys love about this guy. He wasn't all that great when he was with us. Well, one, he wasn't the play caller for the Buckeyes. That was Greg Schiano. Second, I've liked the dude since I knew about him at Washington State. And now that I know that it's really about the defense matching with an air raid concepts coach, you got to believe that when Alex Grinch decides to take a head coaching job, he's going to be in the driver's seat for whomever he wants as an offensive coordinator. But that guy's probably going to be a peak performer and at the forefront of modern offensive football, and knows that if he matches with Alex Grinch's defense, they're going to have an opportunity to go and win championships. This is the reason I think that Washington State fans want to see Graham Harrell really say no to this job, because one, you get Graham Harrell at Washington State, you get a guy that coached there, but an up-and-coming offensive coordinator. And two, maybe he'll be able to match with an Alex Grinch type, because that's what Lincoln Riley needed to do. He needed to go out and get a guy that fit his personnel and fit their overall team concept and try to play what people call complementary football, where the offense is able to complement the defense and vice versa. With Grinch's defense, it's all about getting the ball back for the offense and really getting stops on third down. They were outstanding doing that throughout the regular season. We know the Big 12 has not been as great as perhaps the SEC or even the Big 10, but getting stops in this league is still a big deal, especially when this league is looking more like what John Haycock is running up at Iowa State. We're seeing three-man fronts come into vogue with the odd stack because they're creating problems with blitz pressures and giving quarterbacks different looks. We'll see if Alex Grinch is able to incorporate some of that into what he does. It's a 3-4 on paper, but he plays with four defensive linemen, one being a rush end that can kind of do a lot of different things. But what we saw with Oklahoma last year was when those four up front were able to get penetration and let the back seven, your secondary and your middle linebackers absolutely just run around and terrorize people. It was a tough defense to contend against. And now you're getting Perion Winfrey and Josh Ellison to come in to help you fortify a defensive line that was really good with Neville Gallimore and is going to need help. LaRon Stokes, Ronnie Perkins will come back. Ronnie Perkins will probably be back later on in the season until we hear something different from Lincoln Riley as to why the suspension happened and or how long the suspension is going to be for. But I like Marcus Stripling. I like a year of Marcus Hicks, who, according to Tracking Football, is the most athletic person on this football team, according to their player athletic index. I'm enjoying the maturation of Jalen Redmond. He could turn into an All-American given the right circumstances. Deshaun White is probably going to lead the linebacking core this year, and that's a good thing. You get Shane Witter coming in as an early enrollee. I'm very excited about what Alex Grinch has, and I can understand why he would want to turn this job down. But outside of that, there's not really another job out there for Alex Grinch to keep his eye on. Perhaps Baylor, but I doubt it. I think he wants the job that he has until the job that he ultimately wants comes open. Now, I'm going to be interested, like you, to see what job that ends up being. Maybe it's something in Ohio, right? Maybe it's Cincinnati if Luke Fickell were to move on. I don't think Ohio State's going to be in the cards for Grinch, who's from Grove City, Ohio. But I think there's a Big Ten team in there, perhaps Michigan State in the coming years, that he might be interested in going to be the head coach for. But right now, let's see what he can do in 2020, and let's see if he continue to build his resume, not unlike Brent Venables choosing to stay at Clemson. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.